Hi everybody, it's November 4th. Welcome to your first asynchronous science class. Today we're going to continue our lab asking the question, how does the mass of a car affect its acceleration? You're going to need your notebook, your data table, and possibly your lab materials in case you want to collect more data. Plan for today, review the experiment, make a graph. We'll talk making a graph by hand and in Google Sheets, interpret that graph, and make sure we all know what acceleration is anyway. But first, get comfortable and take a deep breath. Now we're ready to do some science. Reviewing this week's experiment, I want to be very clear. The thing we're changing this week is the mass of the car. Last week, you changed the force on the car. This week, you're changing its mass. The thing that is in common is that we're measuring acceleration. We're trying to figure out how long it takes to go this 30 centimeters and how long it takes to go from being at rest to going 1 meter per second or 0.8 of a meter per second, or however fast the car is going when it hits the edge of the table. That rate of the change of velocity, how quickly it goes from 0 to speedy, that's its acceleration. If you think in terms of Newton's second law, this time we're keeping the force the same, and we're looking at the relationship between mass and acceleration. Mass is our independent variable that we change in order to test out and answer the question, and acceleration is the dependent variable that we're measuring or calculating to get the result. If you're not sure how to calculate acceleration, see yesterday's video. So let's talk graphs. Graphs compare variables and reveal their relationships. In this case, we're going to reveal the relationship between mass and acceleration, but I wrote this as a generalized graph. Your graph will compare mass versus acceleration. Or mass versus velocity. You could even look at mass versus time, though it's not quite as useful. Every graph has a y-axis and an x-axis. I've seen a number of students turn in a data table instead of a graph. The data table is the source for your graph, but the graph actually makes a picture with bars or dots that represent the data. You're going to need a title. You're going to need labels for your axes that have units. And you need to choose a scale. Choose the numbers that go along the side here. The nice thing about graphs is they give you a picture that makes it very easy to see the relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable. All right, so let's do this. Let's actually make a graph. Up here, we've got our data table. Down here, I've got the setup to make a graph. I made a title, acceleration versus mass. So I'm going to put the mass down here, acceleration up here. I set up a scale. The mass is the number of washers. So I had 0 washers, 1 washer, 2 washer, and 3 washers on my car. To figure out what numbers to put up here, I looked at my acceleration row and I said, well, my smallest number is 0.76. My biggest is 1.73. So I figure I want to start a little bit below 0.76 and definitely go all the way up to 1.7. So I put everything in here. That's 11 slashes. So now I'm going to look at my first point. 1.73 meters per second at 0 washers. And this is what's powerful about a graph. I'm going to make one dot for 2 pieces of information. One dot tells me about zero washers, and 1.7 meters per second squared. 1.7 meters per second every second. So I'm going to be able to do that. Then 1.24 meters per second with one washer. So that's over here 1.2. It's a little bit in between for 1. I make my dot right there. For 2 washers, I had 0.96. That's very close to 1 meter per second square, a little bit lower. And for 3 washers, I was all the way down at 0.76 down here. And if I look at these dots, I can see that they're following a nice pattern. I can almost predict where the next dot in the pattern is going to be. I can certainly predict that as I keep increasing the weight on the car, the acceleration drops quite a bit. And that's how I would interpret this graph. I might say, as the mass of the car gets bigger, acceleration decreases. And you can see that. The acceleration was high with no washers on the car, and it's really low with 3 washers on the car. And it's important to notice the difference between this experiment and last week's experiment. Last week, we were looking at the number of washers on the end of a string. That was force. This week, we're looking at the number of washers on the car. That's the mass of the car, the mass of the thing that we're trying to accelerate. You also have the option of using Google Sheets to make your graph. You don't have to do this. It's convenient, particularly because Google Sheets does a lot of the calculations for you. However, it is perfectly acceptable to use Google Sheets to do calculations and then make a graph by hand. Making a graph by hand is a little easier than what I'm going to show you. Nonetheless, it's a useful thing to know how to do. Step 1. Select the row that has the y-axis you want. I want to compare the mass of the car to acceleration, but I'm just going to highlight the acceleration row. Then I'm going to choose Insert Graph. Then I will customize my graph and add in my x-axis. The next slide, you'll see how to do that. So here are your customization buttons. This is your chart editor, and you can choose either the Setup section or the Customize section. Start here with Setup. After you make your chart, you may need to switch the rows and columns. Pay attention. You want acceleration to be in the columns, not the rows. So you may have to switch that so that your acceleration pops up over here. You're definitely going to need to add an x-axis. So when you do that, you'll click over here, and you'll have an option that looks like this to select the cells, to select the boxes in your data table that you want for your x-axis. You click on them, press OK. They all must be numbers. And then you get your x-axis. Finally, you're going to want to, in your setup, to go up to the top and choose a scatter plot. bar graphs are good if you want to compare specific separate instances. Scatter plots are good for looking at a pattern over time when you want to look at the relationship between things like mass and acceleration that are continuous. You can have half a washer. Even though we can't break it in half, you could figure out how many grams a washer is, and then you can have half of that mass. So it makes sense to have a graph that has points in between the actual data that we took. That's why we're using a scatter plot. Also, it's useful for comparing one variable to another. It lets you see how high the acceleration is and how massive the mass is. In the chart editor, under Customize, you can change your titles. You click on this drop down, you'll get an option for the title, for the vertical axis, and for the horizontal axis. Down here, you can make it big, you can change the color, you can make it bold, you can choose a font. All really nice things to be able to customize and make your graph easy to read. Finally, down at the bottom here under Series, you can choose to add a trend line and data labels by checking the boxes that have those names. So remember, if you do choose to make a graph using sheets, you need a title, you need labels that have units, and you need to make a scatter plot with mass on the x-axis and acceleration or velocity on the y-axis. As always with a graph, interpretation is really important. What is this relationship? So ask yourself, how is mass related to acceleration according to this graph? So wait, what's acceleration? Here's an example. Say you're in a car and you're about to get on the highway, but there's a stop sign. So you're starting at 0 meters per second. Once you get onto the highway, you're going 100 meters per second. But it takes you 5 seconds to get going that fast. You've accelerated because you went from 0 to zipping along. And your average acceleration was 100 meters per second divided by 5 seconds. So you got 20 meters per second faster every second. So in the first second, you went from 0 to 20 meters per second. In the second second, now you're going 40 meters per second. By the third second, you're going 60 meters per second. By the fourth second, you'll be doing 80 meters per second. And by the fifth second, you're up to 100 meters per second. So every second that passes, you're going a little bit faster. Your velocity is getting faster. That's acceleration. The same thing happens if you come to a stop. And so finally, here's your independent work for today. 1, make your graph and post your graph in Google Classroom. 2, when you post your graph, write an interpretation of your graph in Google Classroom. There will be an assignment for this, the same assignment where you're finding this video. 3, you should be able to complete slides 1 and 2, and you should be able to start working on the evidence in slide 3. That's in your lab report, which remember is due on Friday. Also, work on your lab report. Don't turn the slides in until Friday, because once you turn it in, you're no longer able to work on it. If you want feedback, send a message in the comments that you want feedback, and I'll get back to you. There will be office hours today at 2 o'clock. If you have questions, please come then. If you have questions, please come then. And it was good to see so many people at office hours on Tuesday. I hope you're all well and you have a great day. Bye-bye.